What's up, guys? Welcome to Resort Originals. Today I wanted to take the time to be able to show my experience in the lead up to Pokemon Sword and Shield and what Pokemon's marketing strategy has been this time around. So let's hear the theme music and get into the video. So I wanted to make this video just because this is an experience that we haven't had in a while when it comes to Pokemon. And by that, I mean, normally we know a decent amount of information when it comes to the games right before release. So right now it is October 12th, and we are about a month away from the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield. And we have not gotten a lot of information regarding the game, and that is a good thing. And I'm going to kind of divulge a little bit into why it's a good thing and also kind of show some negative aspects to it as well. So let's go with the good first. Now, with the good, there's been so many times in past generations that we know almost everything about the game. Really, even if we consider last generation with, well, I mean, technically it's still this generation until the new games come out, but basically the Sun and Moon era, we knew a lot about the games. But at the same time, we still did not know as much about the games as it was for pretty much gens 1 through 5. And by that, I mean, the games came out in Japan before. We're so used to global releases now that it's almost forgotten that Japan normally got the games like 6 months earlier. So normally back like when I was in middle school, it was right around Gen 4. And I would go on to Cerebi and I would see all the information that's coming about Diamond and Pearl. And with those games, we were able to see all the brand new Pokemon that were in the games. We pretty much can find out anything we really want to know about the games because all the information was already out there. And even if we take it back to Gen 3, I was in elementary school when it came out. When Gen 3 was out, we already got a lot of previews of it from the anime where we already knew Blaziken was a thing before Gen 3 even came out. So there's a lot of previews when it came to the Pokemon Advance series, especially through the anime. And what I'm trying to get to is we always seem to know a lot of information about the game. So when we finally play it, we've already had set an expectation of what we think we will be playing or what our experience is when we're going through the game because we already know what to expect. This time around, we have been given almost nothing. Only about 20-ish. I'm going to count this. I'm going to count this right now. So right now we only have 23 Pokemon revealed 1 month before the release of Sword and Shield. And depending on how many Pokemon there are, if we kind of relate to the past 2 generations, because that's when they dramatically reduced the amount of new Pokemon, it would be right around 60 to 80 new Pokemon, and that's including forms and all that. So with that, we can kind of expect to be right around that range again. So that means we still have about 50 to 60 Pokemon to still discover, and that's insane. And what it seems to be this time around, where it was through a Game Informer magazine interview with the creators of Pokemon games, and they said that we probably won't be getting any information regarding the evolutions of the new starter Pokemon. And my thoughts on this are, I am happy that they are keeping everything very secret. But at the same time, I would like to know the Pokemon that I am going to have from the very beginning of the game to the very end. And if I don't know that final stage, and I'm not going to be happy with what that final stage is when it gets to that point in time when it evolves, I'm stuck with that Pokemon, or I just box it. And I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, oh, that was so much cooler of a starter Pokemon that I could have chose for the final evolution, and then I'm missing out for the rest of the time. And I just don't want to get to that point, and that's my kind of give and take to it, where I think it's fine for all of the other Pokemon because it gives you an opportunity to kind of just catch as many Pokemon, see what they turn into, and that's whether that it basically becomes a decision whether you want to keep them or not. But you really only have one chance with the starter Pokemon, so it is kind of it's a chance. You're taking a chance on a Pokemon that you like its starter design and just hope it keeps that design style into something cooler as it evolves. But we're probably not going to get that this time around, so you guys can kind of take that 2 ways. So when it comes to the rest of the story, we don't even really know who the bad guys are of the region. So for the evil team, we really only have Team Yell, and I don't even think that is the evil team. They don't really seem to have any motive other than just being a toxic fan base. And I know it can be kind of strong and annoying, but it kind of like it reaches its point where it just can't get any worse. And when it comes to actually having some kind of part of the story of Sword and Shield, they're really not going to have that big of an impact. It's almost going to be kind of like a side little nuisance that we have to deal with. But when it comes to the core story, we have no idea what's going on in this game. Like, not a single thing. All we know is that we are going to be in the Galar region. We know the professor. That's about it. If I even look at anything else, let's see. I'm on the Pokemon page right now. Galar Pokemon League. So we have the Pokemon League and we have the chairman. I mean, it's just more of just knowing the important characters in the game. But when it comes to like what's going on, we don't have a clue. Not a single clue. And that's a great thing. We should not have an idea what the story is. When you get up and get ready for the day, you have no idea what's going to tackle you for the day. Like, there can be all these different things that could happen throughout the day that you weren't expecting at all. Now you have a general idea and where you're going and stuff, but as far as what happens throughout the day, you don't know what's going to happen. And that's the way it's being treated when it comes to playing Sword and Shield. We don't know what's going to happen. We just know we're going to be in the Galar region having a good time. And that's the way it should be. Where I think Pokemon really learned last time, especially at the very tail end of the up until the release of Pokemon Sun and Moon. The biggest thing was revealing Red and Blue being in the games. It's like, why would you do that? That is a surprise. You don't need to sell the games anymore. Like, we're already gonna get it. You putting Red and Blue in the games is not going to really boost your sales. And I think Pokemon saw a lot of people complaining about all the reveals they had within the lead up to the games, that so many people just knew what was going to happen. It just wasn't as exciting of a game to be able to play because you know what's going to happen. So Pokemon has slowly figured out the whole social media boom that happened within Gen 6, where we would get the YouTube trailers. That, like, YouTube was basically our main source of content. That and Coro, but Pokemon also learned from Coro because they want to control the release of their new games. And instead of it being leaked through PDFs or screenshots of a magazine that's talking about the new features in the game. So Pokemon now has total control of what they want to show. Their job is to show you the new features in the game, because that's something important to me. Because when I'm looking at a Pokemon game, you're probably already going to have my business, but it's also important to tell me what should I look forward to about this game, other than that it has the title Pokemon in it and it's a main series game. So with the ways they were able to captivate us and get us interested to the games would be the new features. So if I go through the new features, it's basically we're getting new forms of Pokemon again, and that's the Galarian forms. That's a really strong point for me because I absolutely love the Alolan forms, and it gives Pokemon a second chance as far as designing the Pokemon or just giving it a different take on the Pokemon. You're not taking anything away from a Pokemon that was already designed. It's just basically you're giving your chance to put your spin on the Pokemon as a new way to be able to catch it. And I think that is a fantastic idea. And the biggest thing that I am so excited about is that they're giving them evolutions. So now it's your own take on an evolution of a Pokemon that was already designed before. And that just freaking blew my mind. So that's even cooler to be able to see. Like, I lost my shit when it came to that. And sorry for the language. I try not to swear too much, but I lost it. That was amazing. Other features that we got are the Dynamax feature. And one thing we learned is the Pokemon actually doesn't really get super big. It's just a projection of it to display like this is like the feature of the game. Now, people can feel different ways about it. I still think it's kind of dumb that you need to project a Pokemon to be gigantic. Just keep the Pokemon with the aura or whatever around it and just know that this is going to be a stronger one for the time being. So it's an interesting feature. I think it's going to have important effects on competitive, and I think that's what Sword and Shield have definitely stressed, that they are going to be putting a lot onto the table when it comes to competitive battling. You've seen that with a lot of actually just videos that they've posted where it's showing brand new abilities, brand new moves, and how it's going to be affecting double battles and such. So they're keeping a lot of this in mind. So I think this is something important that they have stressed in this game, that this game is going to be on battling. So if you're big into battling, this is going to be the game for you, where it's going to give you a lot more options to be competitive with the game and it's going to give you brand new Pokemon to be able to try out with new abilities or new moves that it's learned to be able to bring that to competitive. Now, we've always had new things introduced to battling, but it seems like they're really putting emphasis onto the game here, and that's what you want to see for the marketing portion. You want to see where the fans or the potential buyers of the game, where is this game going? So now we kind of see that path without really revealing anything. It's more of revealing what could you do within the game, but not really spoiling anything that you're like, oh, why'd you tell me that? We have not had a single one of those things yet, which is very, very good. So continuing with the competitive nature of the game, they also mentioned that you can control the natures of the Pokemon as well when you go into the competitive battling or the Wi-Fi battling, and that is awesome. They want to make battling more accessible to everybody. There's someone like me. I am in a full-time position. I work 40 hours a week. I don't have time to spend hours on breeding just to do a 20-minute battle. I just don't have time for it. I don't value the reward when it comes to finally breeding the specific Pokemon that I need to go into battle. That's why I personally use Showdown if I want to get that experience, because it's right there for me. I get to set up the Pokemon the way I want to set them up, and I just get to take the time out of my day to be able to just make my team rather than breeding my team to get to where I want. Because if I want to change my team, then I gotta spend more hours developing those Pokemon. So it's not plausible for me to do something like that, where it might be for people who have more time, but for me specifically, they are catering towards my audience and others that just don't have the time or want to even spend that time to battling Pokemon. So they want to bring more people to that audience, and that's exactly what they're doing, and that's exactly what they advertise. And a couple other features they mentioned is the Pokemon Camp, where it seems like it's an enhanced version of Pokemon Me. Now, I think it's just great. It's a feature that gets you to bond with your Pokemon better. There are going to be some enhancements when it comes to, other than just playing with it, they are going to increase their strength or whatever in battle. So there is going to be some kind of use other than just thinking that it's cute, which is good. So as long as I don't have to spend too much time on it, I think it's a good feature for people who aren't as into it and people who are more into this side of the game. My only wish is if they have these animations to be able to interact with these Pokemon, why couldn't they just put those animations into the battle as well? Why I just don't want to see my Pokemon standing there and doing the same repeated motion over and over again, where, I mean, hey, if they can move around a little bit, let them move around on the battlefield a little bit. It's not going to change anything. Just make it a little bit more interactive and more lifelike feeling when you're doing the battles, kind of like what you'd see in the anime, where I'm not just going to stand here and wait for you to use one move. If I have a hammer, I'm going to use the hammer when you tell me to. I'm going to go right back to my spot, wait for my command. It doesn't work like that. It's not very natural. Obviously, it's a turn-based game, but if you want to bring that more realistic spin to it, like they seem to be trying to do, go that way. But maybe we'll see that in the next game. And when it comes to their information output, we seem to be getting information once every about a month. Sometimes we get a little bit more, but the information is just a lot less, where instead of getting like a 3 or 4 minute trailer or new information reveal, it's closer to a minute to maybe 2 minutes at the max. Like we just had the reveal of Galarian Ponyta. That was a 23-second reveal. I mean, technically it was 24 hours and 23 seconds, but if we're going to go to the official YouTube trailer, if you want to find out the new Pokemon that's been revealed, 23 seconds, that's all it is. So Pokemon, they're trying to do different ways to interact with the audience, but not give away too much information. And they're doing everything where we want more. I would love to, if there was a 10-minute new information vid, I would be clicking on it so fast, but they don't want me to do that. They know if I click it and I get all the information I need, I'm going to be less excited for the game when I play it because I already know all this information. So Pokemon has learned from their past mistakes and are applying that to the release of Sword and Shield, where it's going to be something that is so fresh for us that we are all going to be feeling like we really don't know anything about the game, and we are all entering the Galar region for the first time. And that is fantastic. So those are my thoughts on what Pokemon has done to be able to really make us excited for the game by showing us nothing. They have learned through this brand strategy, through the marketing strategy. They're perfecting it, even though I'm wanting a little bit more. I would like more Pokemon reveals. I really would. But it will be very cool for me to experience encountering a Pokemon I've never seen for the first time while playing a Pokemon game. And honestly, I can't even tell you the last time I remember experiencing that. So that is something Pokemon is going to bring back that is going to be very special to me, and I know special to a lot of other people as well. So let me know what you guys think about Pokemon's decision as far as their branding and marketing go this time around for the lead up to the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Ash Ketchum, sign us out.
Hey trainers, Ash Ketchum here to thank you for watching the Poke Resort. Become a Pokemon Master by subscribing to Austin's channel. Don't forget to see his other recent videos so you can watch them all. Pikachu and I have surfing lessons with Austin's Alolan Raichu. So, we'll catch you later.